Welcome to the Shootin the Que podcast presented by Heath Riles Barbecue with tips, tricks, and an inside look at some of the top pitmasters in the game. Now here's your host, Heath Riles.
Welcome back to another episode of Shootin the Que. I'm joined by my lovely wife, Candace, of course, and two very special guests, Dirk and Miss Jody from the Rib Association. How are y'all doing?
Great.
We're doing great. We're glad to be here.
So for everybody that don't know about the new Rib Cookoff Association, can y'all kind of describe what it is and how it works
Sure.
and everything?
Well, this was a brainchild of Dirk's, and we're sitting in a hotel, and he goes, Jody, it's time. I'm ready to launch this. Well, me with my business background, I just took it and I ran with it. Dirk had to turn his phone off because he had over 300 messages. So
She
basically,
got ahead of me a little bit. That's what she did.
yeah, I got ahead of him. I launched it. I put out a press release that night. And then all of a sudden, he had to turn his phone off. And then we showed up at a contest, and they're like, did you get hacked?
Oh, yeah.
Dirk's like, no, this is real. So we really wanted to get back to the old school. Dirk and I have cooked almost 200 contests, a lot.
Just KCBS. We cooked
KCBS and a lot of different organizations. And, one thing that I really see as a global contest is people like to have fun when they go to these contests, right? You're with your friends, you're hanging out, but you also like to compete. And also what we see is the camaraderie. We see all the cooks gathering together. I know we've been at the Royal and didn't have something, and here came Darren Worth with whatever we need. I think he actually had a delivery. We'd had to probably get him on the phone, but he had a delivery to our trailer, and I went, that's kind of cool. Everybody helping each other out. Also, on our judging, it is judges off the street. And we've had organizations, barbecue organizations, that have sanctioned judges, and they're actually judging our contest, and that's what they're telling us. This is how it used to be. This is the old school. We get to sit with our friends. We get to enjoy good barbecue. Who doesn't like this? So we launched it very quickly. I think within 2 months, we had over 400 members. And a lot of those members you'll never see cooking. It was just people who believed in us and believed in the mission, knew that we had a passion to help people when we could. And we finished last year with about almost 40 contests. And this year we were at 40 at the end of January.
Wow.
At the end of January?
Yes.
Yeah, we're probably up to 60 some now.
Yeah, I had dark hair last year.
You've had dark hair.
Well, she didn't
dark
tell
hair.
you from the day we started with about 4 months later, we were about $60,000 in the hole. And
It's just money. You can't take it with you, right?
It's been great. It did. It went crazy. I didn't turn my phone off that night. I turned the volume off. Had 268 messages or something, and it was crazy. People were like, you got hacked, or is this real? And then the next day we were going to an SCA contest because Jody was getting her she didn't have her golden ticket yet. It was in December.
Oh, darn.
And I bet there was 8 or 10 people come up that, hey, if this is real, I want to be a sponsor, or I want to blah, blah, blah. And we're like, we don't even know what we're doing. We just released it, and she ran with it, and it was like, we had no plan, zero plan. Didn't even know how we were going to do it.
Some
Hadn't even
days,
discussed it.
some days I look at Dirk and I was like, I'm quitting today, just out of fun. And he goes, oh, no. He says, you pour gasoline on this. This is your baby. You're going to run with it.
Way ahead of where I was.
So you said the judges are off the street. Kind of tell me how it works when you sign up for a Rib Association contest.
Sure. So we have online registration. You go to ribcookofassociation.com. And if you're a cook, you can go on there and register. Or if you're a judge, you can go on and register. We don't really care if the judges register or not. We prefer them to let the promoter know or let us know or just show up. We're going to have at least 5 judges judge about 10 entries.
5 judges per table.
Yeah, per table that's going to judge 10 entries. And it's really that simple. We take all the registration money, and we also go through the process. If the promoter, and I might be getting ahead of you, but if the promoter already has the award money, we let them pay that out. If not, we'll write checks. We make it as easy as possible on the promoter.
And so with taking all the money up for somebody doing and all that, you can write the checks for them as well and make it easy and just turn around and cut them what's
Yes.
left over out of the mix and all that.
We settle up with them before the meet's even judged. Really, Jody's right. Already got him a check wrote.
And got it all laid out, ready to go.
We're ready to go.
That way, when it's said and done, all you got to do is close the computer and it's time to go home.
Right.
I'm going home.
It's about that simple, too.
Well, it's all about being organized, and we all know that a lot of cooking organizations there's been really a lot of changes in KCBS. There's been a lot of changes in the Memphis Barbecue Network. There's been a lot of changes throughout the years in SCA as it's come along. Yeah. And we've seen SCA, these single-day events, really kick off with the public, right? Mm-hmm. And we've seen the explosion that they had, and we kind of seen the back burner of COVID kind of barbecue kind of die the fires down a little bit is what I like to say.
Yep.
Seems like we still have the people that want to cook, but the money and the travel and all this, people look at, I think, their finances a little bit differently than they did before.
Totally.
So I think what y'all are doing is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you. That means a lot.
It's going to work for sure. So, Dirk, tell me a little bit about your background.
Well, my work background was oil field. I was in the oil field, oil and gas business, 45 years, consultant. Retired. When Jody and I met, I lived in Woodward, and I was actually in Stillwater working. I was single. She trolled me up in a bar. She would say she didn't do that, but she did. But,
it kind of happened same way with me.
Yeah,
I got picked up in a bar.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, so more or less.
Exactly, right.
But anyway, I really hadn't done. I may have done one barbecue competition without her, and it was kind of a joke, But anyway, I love to cook. I've been smoking meat 40 years, Just thought I was good at it till I got into competition. You know how that goes.
That's the way all of us.
But anyway, we got started, and when we first got into, I don't think we got our first call for. I think the first year we did 6 contests. The next year we might have did 8, and then I think the second year we got 10th place chicken in my hometown. Had a cook-off, and everybody was there. It was back when all the studs were cooking, and we thought we'd won the Royal. It was just we were on a roll then, And I think the next year we did 30. There was years we did 30 and 40 KCBS, a couple years. We were going, but at the time we started, Oklahoma had 22 contests. So we didn't have 3 hours. We could do 20-some contests, and now there's 5, maybe 6, and 2 or 3 of them are new ones. So they're not even. But
that's the way it used to be around here. There was probably 40 contests within a 3-hour reach, because we can be in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, in 3 hours and 15 minutes from here. So every time you go all the way up to Cape, and you can be 4 hours, you can do anything you want to do. You can cook as many contests as you want to out of this area.
Exactly. But my passion's, I'm a cook at heart still. It kills me to not be able. I wish something like this was around where I could have threw a drum in the back of the pickup and go. And she wouldn't have to go. She loved it at the time, and she'll still do it. But she's got a lot going business wise aside from this, so it's a little tougher for her.
He tricked me.
He tricked you. So I have to ask.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, so what is your background? You said business, but
Yes.
do you want to elaborate on that at all?
I retired from the federal government about 7 years ago, and I have my own consulting businesses. I have a couple of nonprofits. I have a contract with the state of Oklahoma. So business acumen has always been my second nature. I get it. I understand it. I work with a lot of new companies coming in and help them strategically plan their business plan, their financials, and how we're going to grow. It's really strange. That comes to me very easily. And all I really did was take my business acumen and put it over to barbecue. And the next thing I knew, we were growing quite quickly.
Wow.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, so he said that he's always had a passion for smoking meat. So how did you get into the barbecue world in the very beginning? What drew you in?
When he picked me up in the bar.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
when he
totally
picked me up in the
from?
bar, he told me, he said, hey, I like to smoke meat. And, I had 3 children at home in which I cooked meals 3 times a day. When they got out of the house, I wasn't going to cook again. And I'm like, okay, well, this will be fun going to watch him. But I'm pretty competitive. Now, as I get older, I've slowed down. I can let it go. Not like him, but I can let it go. So we were coming back from a contest in Colorado, and that's when the SCA had started. And I thought, I can do that. It's just a steak on a grill. Come on. So he got online. He ordered me a grill. It came to the house, and I started grilling, and then I started beating him. So that was kind of fun.
Which is not hard to do. But.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. But I do love it, but I love really what barbecue represents. I think people need to know, and if you ever hear me talk, you'll hear me say, barbecue's a sport. I don't like getting up at 4 o'clock. I don't like putting charcoal in there, but it's things we have to do to continue with the sport. And sometimes you'll go 10 or 12 hours a day, like when we're at the Royal, which you know, or Memphis in May, which we haven't been to, but that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. The big thing is a lot of people don't realize how many steps you take on and off a trailer.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? And even if that's what made me get a porch trailer eventually.
Yes.
You know, and I think you've got a porch trailer too, right?
We sold it. We had 2 or 3 porch trailers.
But you know, before starting out unloading and loading stuff,
yeah.
going to these KCBS and then tear down.
Yes.
And then you kind of convert over to a trailer, and then you wind up with sleeping quarters and a bathroom in it because you figure out I don't want to rent a Porta-John for $150 every week, right? When you go to adding all this up and doing it, you're like, man, I could have bought an investment house over here.
There's no doubt.
I mean, and a lot of people don't realize that and I see people that really don't have the means to get out here competitively. And me and her talk about it kind of off camera, that I really wish people sometimes would wake up and put themselves in a better position for their family instead of chasing competition barbecue. Yep. I have a passion for it too, but that's the only dark side of that I see, that you want to be there with some of your friends and the camaraderie. And I tell everybody, you've never seen people really upset at a barbecue unless they were just drunk, you know. Yeah. And didn't have too much fun. Yeah.
Right.
Let's face it. But other than that, everybody wants to have a good time. And so being left out of that, some people go in debt for that.
Yeah.
Well, and it is a lot. I used to always tell Heath, before we owned this company and we both worked normal jobs, it's like you're using your vacation time, but there's no vacation. Yeah. It's not, I mean, like you said, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It is a lot of work.
You're taking off using your vacation time to go work your butt off, basically.
Back when we were doing 30 and 40 contests, we were spending $12,000 a year on brisket, Snake River Farms, and I only cook one brisket. So, I mean, we were, you think 180 KCBS contests, if we had that money back?
I mean, I know.
You know, one thing that I see.
We enjoyed every minute of it, though.
One thing that I see within this organization, we have a lot of new cooks coming in. Yeah. Our points runner-up, he was a new guy, I haven't launched this yet. Unfortunately, we had wildfires that hit our area, and that kind of switched my thought process to helping people, right? Because that's what I'm all about. But of organizing a group of people who I can work with about the business aspect of barbecue. There's so many things they can do. You and Candace have been very successful at the Heath Riles brand. I'm in board meetings, and I actually had people say, hey, do you know Heath Riles? I was like, well, yeah, he's kind of a great guy, you know? So it's cool that you have that name recognition, but these young guys coming up, we need to share with them some of these tools and social media and how we can help them so they can make some extra money. And if they want to go spend $125 to cook ribs in a parking lot, they can do that. So I'm going to try to put something together. Like I said, we kind of got knocked down after last weekend, but I'm going to put something together for the group. And it's not going to be very expensive, but really work them through that process.
That'd be cool. And we really want to get involved with y'all too. I've told Candace 3 or 4 times, I want to do a type of contest, and I will say it here on camera, that's almost like a fundraiser benefit for police, firefighter, EMS.
Yeah, we'd be all about that.
We do a fundraiser that I'm involved with in Cape Girardeau, Missouri every year that back the When Pigs Fly.
Yeah,
we went. Smoking Brothers in January.
3 years ago?
Yeah, so y'all know that's a great little event where they give you the meat and everything is out, and they pair you with somebody with a badge. Right. And we've been lucky enough to be paired with,
I wasn't there the first year, but last year we were with the nurses, which was great for me.
Yep.
And then this year we were with Marines.
Yeah, we were Marines again, and I've won it
great.
3 times of the thing, just by planning and executing some dishes with the team and all that, and raising money. And I would really like to do something. I feel like those types of things would be good in your areas to where the community is highly involved with your fire departments and your police and EMS and communities like this. We have 6, 7, 8 fire departments, around here.
Oh yeah.
And so by the time you pair up teams with people and all that kind of stuff, I think it could turn into a really big, almost like a town day involving a rib contest and sampling to the public. And
so that is part of our business plan, and it's not a part of our business plan just to make money. It's part of our business plan because it's a passion of ours to help people. So 2 weekends ago, we were in Decatur, Texas. There was a gentleman there that needed a kidney transplant. The Rib Cookoff Association raised $6,100 to give to him. Now, the promoter was able to go out because of the cause and raise enough money to be able to pay the cooks. I think a community will come around a cause and they will support that. And I envision our organization to be more about that than just to go out and throw up a tent in the middle of community or in a parking lot somewhere and say, okay, guys, have fun. And I really think that the cooks like that they love being a part of something bigger than themselves.
Well, the main thing I think y'all addressed that a lot of other organizations besides Texas, right, addressed is bringing in the public element of judging.
Yes.
And so having Jim walk up off the street or be able to sign up when he's never been to a class to judge a rib. And I don't know how y'all do it. Y'all probably give him a little spiel to run down, just have fun and mark down what you like. And it comes out of a good eating rib, because at the end of the day, that's how I got into barbecue, was hearing, oh, that's better than John's down the road or Bob's or, and so when you really look at that, I can see where y'all brought that element back to what was needed, in my opinion.
It's worked out really good.
Because everybody walks up at a judging tent, how can I get involved with this?
Yeah,
exactly.
Right?
It's great for sponsors.
Exactly.
You go find sponsors and say, hey, you can judge, you can, and we have the judges, like Jody said, we have a sign up on our deal for judges. There are very few sign up on there. When people call me, I say, show up. Trust me. Because even with the promoter, if you're promoting one and you're a bigger name, but if 50 people tell you they're going to be here, 35 is going to show up. It's just the way it is. So I'd never say no to anybody that wants to judge. Show up.
What is a typical amount of judges needed for a 50-team contest?
If I was doing a 50, Jody said 10 earlier. We had talked about, it's nice if they can judge 8 entries, 5 to a table. So, you could do.
Just take the math and divide it out.
Yeah, 6 tables, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
It's sometimes that don't work out. We've had 4 tables with.
So you need
45
judges.
teams. So
you basically need 40 judges for that, and everybody.
And there's always volunteers. I mean, you got people walking boxes, taking boxes, trash. There's a lot. I've done a 45-team contest where I did it. Jody did the scoring, and I did all the rest because they just didn't have people show up. And man, it was a workhorse. I tell you.
How many volunteers does it typically need to make a contest run smooth?
I would say
per 50 teams.
Sure, for 50 teams. And I'm going to aim a little high here, but to really have a nice, smooth contest, we'd like 7 to 10. That way it would run pretty smoothly.
That's including, like, say you have 2 people taking turn-in boxes. You have, it's nice to have 2 people. If I had 50 teams, you could use 2 to 3 people walking boxes. But 2's good. We'll never have more than probably 5 boxes sitting at a time, and they'll go in within 30 seconds because we take them. As soon as there's a table open, they go. We don't hold them. We don't.
That's what my next question was. So when the boxes start coming in, and let's just say 2 o'clock's the turn-in time, the first 5 boxes go to that table. Y'all are not generating where what box goes. Just whoever as you come,
That's right.
it goes to a table.
We tell them raise your hand. That way they got their scorecards in the envelope. We take them. If this table may have judged 2 before they get their first one done, and we coach them that it's a very fast process. And so, just wherever. But the boxes do not sit very long.
We have to coach them. Take 1 bite. You don't need to hold the
They want
rib.
to sit there and eat a whole rib.
And so you said earlier before the show started, the rules are you have to cut everything into single bones?
Yes.
Is that correct?
It
So
is.
kind of walk down some of the general rules that you guys have that you can and can't do with the ribs when you cook?
You can pre-trim your meat. We do not do meat inspection. That is up to the promoter, because some cities back contests, they may require it. I don't think we had anybody require it last year, but it's an option, but we don't require it. You can pre-trim your meat when you get there. Once you're on site, you can do anything you want. And a lot of comps will let them come in on Friday night or whatever. So once you're there, I'd care less what you do.
We still have cooks that want to cook low and slow. They want to start the night before, so
Yeah,
that's
so if
more than fine.
Yeah, but
And then
once you're
Candace-
there, do whatever you want to do.
You'll appreciate this. No salad in the box.
Yeah, just
Straight
That
box.
was
straight
never my
box.
strong
Just that we have a
point
full
anyways.
sheet. We have a full sheet in there, and you turn in a minimum of 6
So
single
it's a
bone.
minimum of 6 single bones in a box.
And put them in the box any way you want. There's no, because they're judged. The judge will take it out. The judge appearance on his plate. They eat with their hands. There's no silverware.
So they're not even giving an appearance score of the box.
Nope.
No.
They're taking a rib when you turn it in and putting it on
Yeah.
the plate there, and that's what
That's
they're
where they judge
judging,
Right.
appearance.
like that.
Taste and tenderness. And our scorecards, I wish we'd have brought an example, but all the scores are on there. Our appearance is 6 through 9. Taste is 6 through 9.5. And tenderness is 6 through 9.8. And every single score is on that scorecard. And they just fill in the.
And why the
It's very simple.
decimals is because, we've judged a little bit. Sometimes you're sitting there eating a rib or a piece of chicken, whatever it is, and you're like, well, this isn't a 9, but it's better than an 8. I would love to be able to put something else there. Now they just mark through, hey, that's about an 8.5 for me. Great.
And it does help break ties also. We didn't have an overall complete tie last year. We start with a tiebreaker on tenderness and work back, but we had some make it plumb to appearance, but we never had an overall complete tie last year out of all the contests.
So you
we
have
did.
appearance,
Yeah.
which is 6 through 9. Then you have taste, which is 6 to 9.5. That's just what you think. That's what we tell the judges. Do you like the taste? So we always tell our cooks, just cook good barbecue. That's all you got to
No
do.
criteria.
Some
I
people
tell
like
them
it sweet, some people like it spicy.
Yeah,
That's
And-
right.
And I tell them, if you pick this rib up and the meat falls off of it, and I did not see that happen last year, but they're cooking them right up to that point. But if the meat falls off of it, pick it up and eat it.
Off
That
the
is
bone,
not a ding.
yeah.
That does not ding you. There is no criteria. Just if you like it, score it good, and if you don't, score it accordingly.
And I tell the judges, but at the judges meeting, I say, Dirk and I are cooks. We're going to err on the side of the cooks every time. If there's question, we're going to err on the side of the cooks because, 1, we've spent a lot of money to do this. 2, we've been out there at 4 o'clock in the morning kicking fires up and getting the meat on. So
Somebody that's never cooked trying
That's
to tell
right.
you how something should be.
Yeah.
That's my thing with some associations where like some of the, and I'll go ahead and say it, that was my problem with some of the Memphis barbecue stuff in the inside. I had people trying to tell me what to do that had never fired a grill up or what I had thought never fired a grill up besides a hamburger or a hot dog, let alone a whole hog or a whole shoulder or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways that people, I'll go ahead and say it, that people get accused of cheating on camera with things. And that's the one thing about a rib. You can't cheat a rib. There's nothing to do.
No.
You either got to, if you want to reheat it and be a big boy and reheat it and put it in a box and cook it early, go ahead. But
Well,
that
that's what I
might
tell
not be
people.
the best option for you.
I'll say if you want to inject that 2 days ahead of time, do it and see how that works out
Yeah,
for
see
you.
how it
'cause
works out.
It's
There
not going to
ain't
work out
nothing-
too good, but if that's what you want to do, do it.
But
I mean,
and I'm sure with you cooking KCBS and y'all, you know what I mean by that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can inject and do all this other stuff. But if you pre-brine a rib or pre-season it or anything like that, you're just taking a subject of
yeah.
messing your bark completely up, and it's just so much. It's a little window, and people
Right.
don't understand that with a
Yep.
rib.
I'll have to tell you a funny story offline about judging. I judged a contest, and I thought, oh, Lord, baby Jesus, I'm going to be kicked out of this because you're not supposed to talk. But it's because of someone who had...
Well, you can say
they
what
thought-
contest it was.
No, I'm not even going to say, but it was an organization that has
It's one you've been to before.
certified judges, and there's other criteria. And again, I don't want to give it away. That's not right. But I'm sitting there, and as a cook, I know what we go through, right? And there's an individual who has never cooked that is judging, and I shouldn't have looked. But I looked at what he wrote down on this piece of paper, and I saw 6, and I said, oh, my gosh. And, of course, my voice carries a little bit. And he looked at me, and he goes, what? And I said, that's not a 6. I said, I'm eating the other piece of whatever we were judging. I said, that's not a 6. He got so mad, he asked the table captain to reset me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get kicked out of here. These are my good friends who asked me to judge. Then again, the next entry came in, and he judged down again. I just asked very nicely. I said, can you explain to me why? I said,
You're giving that a 6.
yes.
And
I said, just educate me. No. He said, that's what I think. And I went, I said what I
Your
thought.
score's not even going to count because it's going to get dropped because nobody else's table agrees with you.
Yes, I said.
You're just a blind fool.
Yeah, yeah. I thought I was going to
I
be
call
asked
it
to
like
leave.
that, Jody. That's me. That's probably why some people don't like me.
And this guy had judged a while because by his credentials hanging on his shirt.
There are some like that, though.
Judged a while.
So we
Super judges.
We used to go judge a MBN contest, and I'll call the organization. And every year when I kind of stopped competing, I would go judge this contest. It was a great little contest about an hour from here. And it was Water Valley, Mississippi. I'll go ahead and say it. I don't care who listens to the podcast.
I thought you were going to talk
me.
about something different.
And to sit at the table with master judges, 30 years experience, been judging me since I was in this organization. And me to sit down there and them not know. I did not know whose meat it was.
Right.
But I could tell, like, nobody could pick out what was what, how something was really cooked. The hog box, they couldn't tell me what was the ham, the shoulder, the loin. I could pick it out and see the meat, what the texture of it was.
Yeah.
The
Before I even
texture.
picked it up. I know all of that to a T. The ribs, I could tell what was cooked low and slow versus hot and fast.
Yep.
And they were blown away, and not one person could pick out Blues Hog,
Yeah.
which was kind of amazing to me. I could look at it and tell which 3 entries had Blues Hog on the table before I even tasted them.
Exactly.
But I'm a cook
Yes.
as well.
So we took the positive of that after that experience, which we had our organization for 8 months or so before that. But that was another thing I really wanted to instill into the judges is, first of all, they've been out here cooking before y'all showed up, before an hour before the judging. We're always going to err on the side of the cooks. And we only give them just a little bit of direction because, what's the appearance when they take it out of the box? What's the taste? And then what do you think about the tenderness? And don't ding them if the bone falls off. So I think our judges really like that. And some of the feedback from judges that have cooked other sanctioning bodies has been, we like to judge this way. We don't want to judge to a criterion.
We've had judges from every organization, from World Food to Memphis and May to MBN to
So KCBS and MBN's backwards. Y'all know that, right? One's non-comparative, one's comparative.
Oh.
Yes.
So Memphis and May or Memphis style barbecue is comparative. They want you have to pick a 10 that day. So if there's 5 boxes on the table or 4, I've judged Cape Girardeau, Missouri. No, wasn't Cape Girardeau. Where was it? Kennett, Missouri.
That's what I thought you were going to talk about earlier.
We judged a backyard contest after we done the pros, and we judged Pat Burke, we judged Mike Mills, we judged John Wheeler. Candace did. I mean, these are legends of barbecue that when we were judging back then at that contest, right? The Rat Pack, y'all remember them, right? All those guys, Dwayne and them, everybody was there at that contest. A lot of good food in the pro division. Well, it was 4 of us left, and they said, we need some judges for the backyard, y'all. Can y'all judge the backyard side? And we went in there to judge that backyard side, and like I said, something has to get a 10 that day. Something's got to be the best barbecue you had that day at MBN. The chicken was unedible almost every entry. Some of it was raw, and something had to get a 10. I don't agree with that.
I agree. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the ribs, you could not gnaw off the bone that day at all. They were still like they were half cooked, cooked to 150 probably and stopped. Yeah. Right? And it just, somebody won that backyard division off that food that should not have been.
Which is terrible because the next cook, they probably cooked it the same exact way, thinking this is what we need to do.
Something right,
Yeah.
I think they may have give all them some feedback there, but that's been 10 years ago or better.
A long time ago.
But still, the judging horror stories have not ever ended.
Yeah.
Is where I'm going with that, right? There's always judges that just, it seems like to me you almost should be required to cook with a cooking team before you get your, what is it in KCBS? You need to cook so many contests to become a master.
Yeah.
50, like 100 or 50 or what?
50.
50, and then you go cook with a team, right?
Yeah.
I will say a lot of judges that I've seen, I've had one master judge cook with me before to get his master certification anyway. he was really nice and knowledgeable. And I've seen others, but I'm like you. I've seen the field about 50-50.
We've done that probably
2 times.
No, it's been more than that. Probably 6 times that we've let master judges, and there was only one time I really wanted to, I was about ready to kill the judge. Our youngest son was cooking with us then, and he was a good cook, but he would take. I give him a spiel of you have to stay out of my way. I don't care what you see, whatever. Do not be looking over my shoulder because I'll run you over. I give him a little spiel you can look at anything you want, but you got to stay out of the way. And every taste of food he would give them after he turned the box hands, I really don't like that. You're hearing it and right there, and I'm like, and about the 3rd time, I didn't say nothing, but we got 3 calls that day, and I think we got 3rd overall, and he didn't like none of it. But no, we've done that a lot. But we had somebody we've had numerous people this year, not very many, 5 or 6, say, you guys should do comment cards. Well, let me tell you what I do with my KCBS score sheet when we get it. I go out and start the truck, ready to go, right? We're already hooked on. Jody gets the score sheet. She looks at it, see if there's comment cards or whatever, and usually I can see her laughing when she gets in the deal, but we haven't had any comment cards in a while. But anyway, she'll get in the truck. She'll hand it to me as I take off. And once I get on the highway, I glance at it 5 seconds. I'm boom, boom. I don't even check table numbers or nothing.
You just look, see where it hit you at, probably tenderness and where your flavor was at.
Yeah, I throw it in the back seat where I can't reach it again. And as soon as I get home and we unhook everything, I throw it in the trash. I never look at it again. I don't keep them. I don't analyze it. Because it's no feedback to me. It's just not. Some people it is.
Oh, he used to in the
I used
very
to write
beginning.
down the temp of the contest, what the temperature was, and I got that score sheet. So when I went back there next year, I knew how the weather was.
I used to do
spot
that.
I was in. NASCAR, I had certain spots at contests.
Yeah.
I would go by because my trailer needed a 30 amp plug or whatever. I had all these electrical places fixed at every contest for me. I had my own people, like Scotty Chun, him be cooking. He's a master electrician. I'd have him fix my own outlets, own stuff. All that. I had a weird scenario of how I navigated my stuff. And I'm the same way with you. But I used to write all that down and track it. And when I really got on a hiatus, my meat didn't come out of the cooler to 10 a.m. Everything had to be injected or brined by 2 in brine. I had a really unique system all the way down to the stuff didn't come out of the freezer till Tuesdays to start thawing for Friday.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because I'd buy 5 briskets at a time, trim them, put them in the freezer.
Right.
Yeah.
Chicken, I'd buy a case and trim a case of chicken out.
I always have a timeline with this, but it is just nothing but a guideline. I may be 10 minutes early or 15 minutes late on this, and I don't care at all. Once I start the cook and the meat's on, it is what it is after that. I don't ever have to look at what time I should be doing something or whatever.
He always makes me cook chicken.
I wrap it when I'm ready to wrap it, and
I do not like chicken. I will not touch. I'll touch it, but no. So when he gets chicken calls, it's mine. Just remember that.
So starting the Rib Cookoff Association last year, what early challenges have y'all already seen this year that's kind of popped up?
Sure. I think that's a great question. So something that we misjudged in the very beginning is we needed more help, and we needed experienced help. We had a contest that were all volunteers, and they were great volunteers, but they had never been involved with the Rib Cookoff. And so some of the communication didn't go over correctly, but that's okay. You know what? To me, it's okay to have mistakes. You got to learn from it and move on. And so that's what we've done. If there was something that was unintentional that happened, we definitely figured it out and we learned from there. And we still talk about it. However, I think we got a pretty good oil machine right now. So
as the Rib Cookoff Association grows, what are y'all's expectations or hopes of the future?
You didn't even mention the Europe. We're already in Europe.
We launched in Europe last year. I went over there September 28th and helped 2 of our amazing reps they're our COA team members who are running Europe for us. We had a contest in Netherlands. It was amazing. It was.
Sure, Australia will be next then.
I'm going there July 19th. Yes, and
New Zealand. You're going to
It's going to New Zealand. Australia's going to be there.
The Aussies are going to be there and check it out. So
I may need to go with you over to New Zealand.
Come on.
She's actually cooking a contest.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be cooking a contest, but you know what? we are honored by that. We don't take that lightly. All of our success is not our success. It's Rib Cookoff Association. Everything we do in our association, it's not Dirk and I. It's the members. Like, we launched a cookbook last year. It is the RCOA members who also put in their recipes. So it's bigger than us. We're going to keep growing. We had Kevin Groth at Memphis in May say we're the fastest growing barbecue organization out there. You know, I don't take that lightly. I have a lot of respect for him, and for him to say that meant a lot. But our goal is to teach people that there's a sport out there. That sport is called barbecue. Again, we've cooked a lot of sanctioning bodies, and something that I always saw that was missing was the community aspect. It's nice to win the big checks. You've won the big checks. You all have been up there on stage. Y'all know that feeling. We know a lot of those guys that have done that. I don't ever want to take that away from a cook, but just think if we could also help somebody.
Well, that's right.
You
I
know,
agree
somebody
100%.
who needs a kidney transplant. You've got somebody in the community that might need help with cancer. You might have somebody in the community that lost their home to a fire. You might have had a major disaster. There's always something in the community, and what, instead of going and building a house and say, move that bus and look at this new house, look at all the sponsors that brings. Rib Cookoff Association is going to do that by bringing people together, because the more people we lift up in this organization and the sport that we love, and we're going to be able to continue cooking, it's going to grow the whole organizations.
That's right. And people, when they figure out they can be involved and be judging and not have to, like I said before, go to a class or go to a,
That's right.
They don't have to go pay a fee to $50 or $100 to take a class to judge this. They just walk up off the street. Oh, I can judge barbecue today?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I can do what? And have y'all ever judged any Texas barbecue contests like that?
No.
IBCA or Champs Barbecue?
Well,
like
I've
that?
been a KCBS
We've
judge
cooked
forever, and I've
them.
never judged a
Yeah.
contest in my life because I've always cooked. So
Well,
Jody
we
knows.
have cooked those contests, but we've
Yeah, we've
never
cooked,
been a judge. But I really liked it. I would say the turnoff for me in some organizations that have this certified judge is the criterion changes so much that it's unattainable. I had rather say, here, you 10 cooks, go and cook for this public, and let's have them make a decision.
That's right. That's right. And the public's getting to eat because a lot of places,
Yeah.
the city
That's right.
is saying you can't be involved. But if you're going through a deal like that, and what really opened my eyes to it, we went to Houston last year, and we got invited to cook this year and couldn't. But it was just, they were letting them drink back there, and they were eating ribs and chickens and, brisket, and everybody was having a good time and laughing. And I just thought, man, this is what judging, this is cool.
Yeah.
Do you know
Enjoy
what I say? So we have been at a contest in Texas for Rib Cookoff Association, and you know them boys down there, they like their beer, and so if they drink beforehand, I'm not their mama. They can do whatever they want, but I went up there and hugged their neck and said, "Sweetie, you better check that," because when you're judging this, I said, let's be as fair as we can to the cooks, and then as soon as it's over, have another one right there and pop it and let's go, and so. We don't mind about that, but you did ask, where do we see the Rib Cookoff Association? We're going to be 100,000 members. I want that to be 5 years is what I put a deadline for us. If it takes 10 years, that's okay. Again, it's not about Dirk and I. It's about the association. Just think of the impact. Take that for a moment.
I agree.
What's the impact we can do with 100,000 people?
You talked about the community deal. We have a contest in Grand Lake, Oklahoma, Ketchum, Oklahoma, April 16th, I believe.
I think so.
Started off with some guys that cook RCOA, and they own a store up there that's, I think they have barbecue supplies and lake stuff called Lake Bones. And we had a friend of ours that cooks RCOA that lives in Stillwater out at the lake, and he lost his house in the fire. And so, of course, everybody stepped up. These guys turned their contest into anything after expenses. We're going to do it. It's all a benefit for him. So people have been donating. It's really cool because they were just doing a contest to have a contest, and now it's all about, right? They got him an Airbnb. He cooks, so he's going to get to cook, but they're they're paying his entry and Airbnb for him, and people are stepping up and donating stuff. It's going to be, I can't wait.
Cool.
It's going to be fun. Yeah. Just
cool.
for a guy and he's only cooked last year.
Yeah,
So
and
it's pretty neat.
that's what I
Just to
really
get
like
people
to
like that to
see.
step
And
up.
even at our world championship, there were some people that we had identified, cooks that would leave their pit that were in the points championship and go over and help newbies. We took note of that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
We made a note of people who wanted to pay to make sure any kid could cook for free. We made note of people who are legends in the barbecue society
I think we had people
and
from
actually cooking for us.
I don't know how many states. There was 11 world champions there from different organizations,
So
which is pretty cool. And 10 or 11, 12 states from people. And
You see barbecue supports other barbecue things. You know what I mean? Everybody can't always attend something, but it seems like the ones that can get out on the weekend, you see a variety of people at different things always. And that's why we like getting out and traveling on different events too. I don't want to go cook everyone anymore.
Sure.
Right? But getting out and being seen and supporting the teams, and especially the people that use our products on the trail and things like that. Just being seen and taking a picture of people, that goes a long way.
yeah.
So with the amount of contests y'all had last year, what was one of the most popular cookers that was used in the Rib Cookoff Association?
I would say drums are more prevalent. There's some jambos, and I think that's convenience. Throw a drum in the back of your pickup, go, you know.
hey, we are going to trademark this right here. Throw a drum in a truck and go cook.
That's it.
I think Dodge
We
needs to
talked
come
about
on.
this 5 to 10 years ago. People did
Yeah.
really about 10 years ago when you really was at the Sam's Club series. And did y'all cook the Sam's Club
Yes,
series? Of course?
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure at the time you probably had a motorhome like everybody else.
Yes.
A fifth wheel
We had a
trailer.
motorhome, but we had our porch trailer with living quarters and
Just like
that.
us, I've had it all. And
Yeah.
my point is, looking around there, you go, well, there's 30 teams right here. And I'm counting everybody's probably spending $150,000 on equipment, trucks and trailers, right?
Right.
Everybody's driving diesel trucks and this
Yeah.
and that. And you got to looking at the grand scheme of things, and everybody talked about then we need to get back to the old way of barbecue, under a tent, get everybody out of their trailers, get
right.
everybody having fun again, and socializing
Right.
with each other, because I feel like barbecue kind of lost that. You had your cliques that clicked up, and
Yeah.
they was against each other, and that's what barbecue is not about.
It's
not
cool
about-
for
Or
us to
food
see.
in general. Let me not
Right.
say barbecue. Food
Right.
in general is about bringing people together.
Exactly.
And it seemed like some of the organizations had separated
Right.
that.
It's cool to see how many of our guys met each other cooking in our organization, and now they're traveling together, running up and down the road, sharing expenses, sharing hotel rooms,
Yeah.
cooking under a canopy. Just it's
We cooked
It's pretty
several
cool.
state contests when it first started, and we thought it was going to be really cool. And I do think it's still a great concept. I'm not not knocking that at all.
Right.
But I think it grew so much that they're now trying to get a grasp on what's,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my next question to y'all with the growth that you're having.
Yes.
How are you going to control that? Are you going to cap it off at so many contests a year? Are you just going to let it roll and let it grow to as many contests
we're going to
as
let it
can
roll.
go?
Except for I've turned down 3 or 4 contests this year. As long as they're not, I don't really have an hour wise, but I cook enough to know what
Is
if you
gonna
want to
hurt.
have what's going to hurt one or another, and I won't let them do it. So we will have multiple contests on the same weekend as long as they're not going to kill each other. And I'm talking, the 8-hour range. There's some that's a little less than that, but
Yeah.
3-4 hours or something.
Within a couple hours of each other, you're not going to
I
do
definitely
that.
will not let them do it.
And that's the big thing that's happened around here. What we've seen with some barbecue contests is dates has changed and COVID and things like
Yeah.
that. You've got a smaller contest popping up going against a bigger contest.
Right.
Well, yeah, it is enough teams for it, but what it's not enough for is judges.
Right.
And it happens a lot. It used to a lot at South Haven Springfest here. That was one of the biggest, the top 3 biggest contests that the Memphis side would have. Because it's a KCBS and an MBN now.
Yeah.
So you're talking about and a lot of judges are certified in both, and it depends on which one they like more of which one they judge that day, right? And the tent's divided. So you got to pick which one. You can't judge both because they're at the same time turning.
I've been pulled out of our judging area to go judge that contest.
Yes.
The first thing we do if somebody calls us and wants a date for a contest, of course, we check the calendar. But I check KCBS calendar, SCA calendar. That's usually about it. Now, if it's a Texas comp, I'll check all their stuff because most of these people, they don't know if there's a KC. They don't even know what KCBS is, so they don't know what's going that weekend. So if I find a KCBS contest 30 miles away, and I figure not they're going to lose a lot of cooks, but it may be just enough that I say, hey, I don't suggest doing that weekend. You might do something else, but if not, then. That's our main deal. We're eventually going to grow as long as the dates we can keep people. Last year on September 28th, we had 5 contests from Wisconsin to
Europe.
The coast to Europe to Kansas. It worked out good. They were all spread out.
All spread out.
So our only problem was getting people to rep them, and we had that, so it worked out good. But I'll never get to where I let them hurt each other close, because then you're just killing. That contest will never be back.
We have small communities that are stepping up, that are telling us we've always had a festival in our community, and this has been our own barbecue contest. They don't care if they have 10 to 20 cooks there, because it's community guys coming out. Yeah. We actually saw one of those organizations step up, and they said, we want this to be sanctioned by our COA. They're not going to take our normal cooks. They really want it for their new cooks. Yeah. To us, that is furthering the barbecue sport. So we're
and it's
okay
pulling
with
in
that.
their crowd to judge it.
Yeah.
That gets to pull their local people and their stuff.
Exactly. So you're always going to have your judges. You're going to have your cooks there. It gives them a sanctioning organization to go after. Our organization, you don't have to be a member to cook. However, if you want to track points, you have to be a member. And if you want an invitation, or if you're a winner of the contest, you have to be a member before turn-ins. That's worked out very well. Well, now we're seeing people come over and say, this is kind of fun. We're having fun doing this. Maybe we want to go and pop a tent and put our drum in our truck and go do this and be home by 5 o'clock so we can eat dinner with Mom. We're really seeing a lot of that. And we noticed that coming from last year, and it's definitely continued over to this year.
So how many contests do you have right now for this year? I know you said that you already did 40 in January.
60 probably right.
And that'll increase because they just come as time goes. Yeah.
I think we have
I said, we've turned down a few. But.
Yeah, I think we have 8 or 9 weekends free right now. But again, in the business plan, when I wrote it, I see this being states coming together, especially the way we organize the reps and what they're being paid. I see the states really taking ownership in this and almost taking care of your own communities. And then you talked about having a contest where, you progress possibly. We could do that with the states as well. We're not there this year. Maybe next year we will, where, we take state cooks and then we have another contest within another contest. Maybe we have another organization that steps up and says, hey, there was this tour thing here on this other organization. That seems kind of fun. And they can use that as a way to give back as well.
That's right. Well, I have a question. What's a dream barbecue destination or an event location that you've been to so far, whether it's barbecue that you cooked or either with the Rib Association so far, or what's a dream place you want to hold an event at?
Ours is going to be different. Go ahead. You say yours. I'll say mine.
Yours is probably going to be Europe. I don't know. I have to think of that. I went to Port O'Connor, Texas last year, right? They had one of their sponsors donated an Airbnb. And the water was from me to the other side of this building at the most. And my oldest son came down from Georgetown, Texas, and helped because she was
in Europe.
In Europe, yeah. So that was a really cool one. I don't know. We've traveled so much barbecue anyway that I don't know.
I think all the contests that we had a special meaning to us. Either we were giving back to the community or we actually observed a community coming around the organization. A dream location to be, and again, I'm very conscious that I want it to be affordable for everyone. I mean, yes, I'd love to have one in Bora Bora and all of those amazing destinations. I want water. But, Florida coast, I love the Sarasota area. I've got a lot of connections down there. Just being able to allow a lot of these cooks that experience, how cool that would be, and then possibly going up into the Rocky Mountains, then into Maine, and seeing a tour where we could all come together and be able to do that. That's kind of my dream vision.
I told Jody earlier, I said, can't wait till we start going west because everything's been east. So, Wyoming, places like that, just start getting out west. And we get a Montana contest called VFW, Montana, not too far from Bozeman. And I'm like, yeah. And then the date is the same weekend as the Royal Oak Invitation. Oh. I'm like, oh, man.
We have a funny Royal Oak Invitational story, too.
I don't know how we're going to pull that off.
So Candace called me.
I'm still
all
not
excited,
happy about it.
And we pretty much could have had a suite for Stevie Nicks and who else? In New Orleans.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel.
They're doing
and it's kind
a
of like
concert in New Orleans, like a one-time back together. Because, they've done stuff
Yes.
together before. And
I'm a huge
we
Stevie
recently
Nicks fan.
saw Stevie Nicks with my parents, and she was just wonderful. Even
She is
to be
good.
older, she was
No way
wonderful.
a 73-year-old.
And so
woman
I
smooth
started
like
seeing
that.
all of
I
this
agree.
about she was going to be having her and Billy Joel, which I would love to see him as well. I've never seen him.
That'd be great.
And they were going to be in New Orleans, and we have a connection to a suite there, like you said. And I was just planning this in my head. This is going to be so great. We're going to do this. And I already had my email drafted to who I needed to talk to about the suite, like everything. And I thought, I better to look at the calendar. I hadn't even checked the calendar. Royal Oak Invitational.
It never fails. We have changed plans 3 or 4 times because of the Royal Oak.
I was just like,
you're thinking that's
dang.
8 months away or something.
This is
and
a one-time
somebody-
contest.
Yeah,
Like one-time
somebody
concert.
picks a date and it ends up being Royal Oak Invitation.
Yeah.
We're never going to miss, turn
But
No,
how
because that's
blessed
a
are
great
we?
time. I was
It
there
is.
last week at
It's
Royal
always
Oak's
nice
office,
weather.
Yeah.
And
and it was y'all know you've been there.
Yeah, that's just tough.
That is a different kind of company.
It is.
Yeah, I agree.
They really are. They really respect the teams that they have, and you
Yeah.
bring in and do that, and you bring your family and the children and bounce houses, and they feed you so
Yeah,
many meals
it's
a day.
fantastic.
And don't want you to go anywhere else and put you in a hotel room. And
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that from a lot of other companies.
And
No,
Heath, you know
it's-
that they're a sponsor of the Rib Cookoff Association, and we're very blessed.
It's awesome. It's when they say family, it really is
They
a
mean it.
family. They mean it. It really is a Royal Oak family.
and
It's-
this
it's-
past year we
it's
got
not just
to
a
go.
charcoal sponsor.
This last year, we got to go and just help out. And that was so meaningful just to see the back behind the scenes. I think I got stopped by Scott, and I thought I was going to get escorted off because I didn't bring my banana pudding. So
Scott's a eater.
he is, and he likes my banana pudding. So,
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun.
that's so much fun.
Well, the one thing that I always have to ask people that's traveled in barbecue, tell me about the 1 or 2 places that stand out for food for you when
That's
you're
usually my
traveling to
question.
barbecue contests. You talked about everybody has their favorite contest, or every contest has a personal connection, right? Where are some of the places, hole in the walls, iconic places that y'all love to eat when you go to some of those towns? You can't wait to go back there to get a dish or get something.
I have to think on that because we, and I don't know if y'all are this way. I know a lot of barbecue cooks are. We don't eat a lot of barbecue
No.
because it's all, you cook so much of it. So it's usually Mexican food or
Or ice cream. I have to have ice cream after barbecue.
I'm more into where am I going to get a good drink at? Peanuts in Kansas City's. That's a destination place. We never go to the Royal or something that we don't do peanuts. You know what peanuts is?
No.
Oh, like world famous wings. Google it and check it out. The original one, Donnie Till took us to the original one, and it's this very small little bar, and you sit with whoever. It's just
That's
like
bigger than this room.
no, it's
Really?
it's maybe twice the size. It's small.
I would like to go to the Anchor Bar when you talk about wings.
Yeah,
up
I'd
in
like to
New
do
York,
that
right?
too.
Buffalo,
yeah,
New York.
yeah. But the peanuts, and now they've got 2 or 3 more maybe that are more like a sports bar type deal. But yeah, peanuts is if you go find a peanuts, there you definitely got to hit peanuts. It's world famous. So
I think I look at food when we're not at a competition. I think, again, it's a sport. We're exhausted. I want my ice cream. I want something maybe a little salty like Mexican food. And then I want sleep, right? It's when we're traveling, we try to find those little special places. And, of course, we always go on Triple D and see what the coolest place is.
I mean, we do
and-
the same stuff. We're always searching out different
We've
apps
done
or
that
different
some.
cities.
I feel like,
Yeah.
honestly, sometimes we're disappointed, though.
you've eaten this,
Yeah,
and
some
it
places
gets
we
that
are.
way. It's not half of them aren't what you think, And
I was in Birmingham, Alabama at a conference when I worked for the government. And that's when, Triple D was really kind of getting big, and there was definitely a hole-in-the-wall taco stand. I ate 3 there, and I don't eat a lot, but I ate 3 tacos there, and I think I took back to the hotel 6. They were that good. Now, if you asked me what that name is, I couldn't tell you, but I bet you we could figure it out. But in Birmingham, Alabama, of all places.
That's where her sister lives. Birmingham,
An outskirt of Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're more, other than like when we've been to New York and we each pick a destination place and haven't been in quite a while, we're more of just a little, I'd rather find a little local, off the wall place.
That's me.
That you probably nobody's ever even heard of.
I'm on with the locals.
Because to me, that's where you're going to get the best. To me, that's where you're going to get the best food and the best.
So what's your favorite?
Depends on what city, but I'm a huge taco and Mexican person too.
Oh, yeah.
At one time when it's really hot in the summer, I used to like cold sandwiches like Lenny's or not Subway, good sub shops.
Yeah.
Right. But it depended on how much driving
mean?
I was doing, huh?
I said, well, what do you mean? You don't like Subway?
No, I don't like Subway at all.
We eat a lot of sandwiches
about you,
at home.
Candace?
We love sandwiches.
I'm a sandwich and Burger King.
Yeah, we are. We
Or not
love-
Burger King. I like burgers, like
Right.
cheeseburgers.
Yeah, we eat sandwiches a lot at home.
I mean, we don't really travel for barbecue anymore. So our it is for barbecue, but not the same concept as running the
Traveling your
circuit.
contest.
Right.
It's to trade shows and conferences and things like that. So, I mean, we don't eat much barbecue unless it's like an iconic place near there that we want to go to. But I'm a big Italian food person. I
Italian
like
food.
not chains really, but like homemade Italian.
Right.
And I like
Old
taco
school
shops.
Italian. I like to go in an old restaurant that just looks like it's from the 40s or something.
too.
I
That's
like
my
that
kind
feeling.
I do too.
We get a lot
Now,
of
when you're in Oklahoma, I'm going to take you down to a place called Beggs, Oklahoma. It's where the Italian immigrants came in. They had coal mines down there that they ran. It's called Roxana's, and it is the best Italian place ever. Now, they have 2 other tourist Italian food places. They're good. It's pizza and something. Olive something.
But it's
That Roxanne's.
really good.
It's
One
amazing.
of my favorite Italian restaurant probably to date is in Chicago. Rosebuds.
Oh, yes. I've been there.
I love a good vodka sauce.
You say that, but what about the little place in Little Rock, downtown Little Rock?
It
That
doesn't
was really
compare.
good.
No. It was good,
It's
but
not
it
the
wasn't.
place that was on Food Network, was it?
I think it was. I
we
think
went
that's
to
why.
the KCBS World Invitational, and we by accident went to that place. I don't
probably
even know
is.
if
Red
it,
and white checker tablecloth.
Yes.
yeah, I don't
Yes.
even know if it'd been on Food Network at that time. And because I had a
think I
bologna and pimento cheese sandwich, or it was kind of, we had a bun and everything, but yeah,
It was good.
we saw that.
Well, no, this is an Italian place I'm talking about.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no,
this
this
was
is
a
a
Here
different
in
place.
Italian. I mean, it's several
this
little
place was
places.
But
down
it's a
through
little
there.
hole in the
Yeah.
wall Italian.
Like that, but that Italian
place
place is
was
really
just
good.
a-
And there's actually a new pizza place over there. And the guy's been there about 5 years, and Dave Portnoy
Oh yeah.
scored him very high on pizza. And they
Oh,
say his place
well,
is
if he
blowing
did
up
that,
over there.
it's good then.
Yeah.
Because he don't pull no punches on.
There's another good Italian place in Nashville too, though.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
it is.
really?
But you better be ready to open your wallet because
Yeah.
it's one of
Oh,
those.
was it Lupo? Oh, no, what's it called?
I don't know.
It's something really simple. It starts with an L, don't it?
I don't remember, but it's very expensive. But it's very everything in there is homemade. Every pasta
That's tough to
dish,
beat.
every.
We need a guy that opened it.
I mean, it is
that got it off the ground,
completely homemade. Everything.
Maybe we'll have an Italian Cook-Off Association coming up.
There is a pizza cook-off
We have
association because the
a,
guy
they have
called
the
us.
Italian festival here in Memphis.
Yeah, there's
We've
a big
never
Italian
been,
festival.
Ooh, that'd
but they
be-
have a big Italian festival every
fun.
year. They have like a wine contest and
They have a
sauce
tomato gravy.
contest. Yeah,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
never
Simmered
got to
tomato
go.
gravy all day long. Everybody drinks and pounds wine, and
It's the same weekend as as a big
How
barbecue
fun.
thing.
it's
Though.
the first weekend of June.
It's normally the same weekend as a barbecue that we used to do though, because that's why we could never go.
I used to have to
But-
set it up with the beer business before I'd leave to go to that barbecue. You know?
But yeah, there's a big Italian.
I mean,
festival
how
here.
cool would that be to go to a Rib Cookoff Association and you're going to communities on a little tour? Well, you're in one community, and again, you have your impact, you're giving back. what if they had an Italian category, and then you have one and it's dessert is added, and then what if you went to one and a burger's added, and you went to an, I mean,
we have a lot of contests that do ancillaries, and starting off, I told Jody, I said, we can help people run ancillaries. I don't want nothing to do with them as far as our organization, because, well, that's where the trouble's going to be, and then it's going to carry over into our rib deal, which is our main deal. So we got all year long last year, I think 2/3 of the ancillaries we ran for people we brought all the scorecards, everything, did for nothing. And now we charge $50 promoter fee, just enough to get. And if our signups, like she can explain it, but if the website's got, say it's a double rib and wings, every option's on there, rib A, rib B, both, wings, the whole 9 yards, we get $10 per sign up, because just to cover credit card fees and all that. But if they're all in one sign up, it's not per deal. But so we started charging at least that for them, and we're still running their contest.
but we simplified it, right? I get it. We kind of have to have rules,
We all
guidelines.
have it simplified anyway, because you're using judges off the street.
Yeah.
And
Right.
you took the element out of it that everybody hated.
That's
That's right.
I don't want to say everybody hated, but you took that training off of that
Yes.
person's shoulders and put it back in the people's hands.
Yes.
That's eating food. And I think that's what the main draw is for me, is it's feeding people really good food. And you don't have to make that one bite so potent.
That's
You
right.
don't- your ribs don't have to be loaded with MSG or injections.
That's right.
And in KCBS, MBN, you want that one bite. Let's face it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have you had any vegetarians show up? This is a valid question.
Oh,
I'm going to
that
tell you
is.
why. I'm going to tell you why
know.
I'm
We
We
asking.
haven't. I'd love to hear why.
Yeah, I don't
There,
think
we have
We've had
had
judges at Memphis and all
Memphis
the meat
and
and put it back on
May
the plate.
vegetarian judges that will not swallow the meat, but will put
they'll
it in
chew
there.
it. I've seen that on TV, I think.
So I was just curious
Soak
if
the
you had
juice
had
out of
that
a
yet.
pork loin at
No,
all.
never had anybody.
Well, we would ask them, we'll have a vegetable ancillary and ask them to judge that. I mean,
I'd be like,
No, I was just asking because that has truly happened to
Yeah.
us at
Wow.
a meat pork contest.
Whole hog.
I can't even
That's
wrap my head
crazy.
around that.
Like the first piece he picked up off the plate, because when you bring a whole hog to the table, you need to bring parts of the ham, shoulder,
Yes.
loin, right? On-site judging.
Yes.
And you want them to try the loin first, right?
Still
He was an
remember.
on-site
Reaches and
judge?
grabs the loin and sucks the juice out of the loin.
why would you even
Yeah,
want
it's
to
just
judge
sweet.
if you did that?
Gummy.
That's
And
what
lay it back
I.
on the plate. Dip it in sauce, soak the sauce.
But
over it,
never tells us during
Yeah,
the
they-
judging portion
So you
that
didn't know.
So we're just like, clearly he didn't like it. He didn't eat the
He ain't
meat.
eat nothing.
He did eventually come back,
Come back,
as
said he was
judges are
vegan.
asked to do. And,
Said we got his 10. And we finaled. And maybe some average your skill on.
but
Well, that's
still,
good.
that is not
Yeah, that's crazy.
a
But he ain't
fair
judging no more. I made sure of that.
judge
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
anyone.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
crazy.
you.
So that's why I was just asking if
Yeah,
if
we
you had ever
have
had that
not-
happen.
We've actually been pretty fortunate this year. Our contest scores have been consistent. Now you'll do a whole contest and the scores are high. You'll do a contest where they're low, but they're consistent. So it's
That's right.
from top to bottom. It's usually not just a crazy. Every once in a while you get.
So one of the last questions I'm going to have for y'all, because I keep talking about barbecue, of course. Do you see the table of death in y'all's association versus like you do in sanctioning bodies like KCBS, MBN, all that, right? Do you see a really low scoring table versus all the other tables? Or is it more average?
We really
now
don't
because it's
even.
average Joe?
Even our score, like when we do our printouts, we don't have table
don't
numbers
know.
or nothing. So really don't know. You know, if you happen to see, Jody does all the scoring. So when she gets a score sheet, she can pretty well figure out what table they're coming from. Maybe one judge is because the writing's the same, and she's like, "Man, this judge is really low" or something. But overall, we don't break it out like that. So you really don't know.
So
I
you're
mean,
not going to have the table of death, but again, being cooks and focusing on the cooks. When I get the score sheet in, and you're seeing 8s and 9s and higher decimals, and you see a 6, and it continues that way. I almost want to say, whose card is this? I won't, but you're like, why did you even come today?
our judging's
that
double
you're
blind,
having good
so-
barbecue.
It's double blind. So if you bring me your box, I tape, or whoever's taking the boxes, tape an envelope on top of it. It's got 5 score sheets in it, right? It's a double ticket, so the cook gets a
So
ticket.
each rib is scored individually
Yes.
on that rib. It's not going up against another
Nope.
rib.
Nope.
Nope.
It goes to that table. They take the envelope off. Each judge at that table gets that scorecard. They score it. They put it back in that envelope, and we pick it up.
Yeah.
And so there's really nothing's broke out to a table. It's double blind. We don't even know who won other than ticket number until it's done. And then we do a printout just with ticket numbers when we're done, so they can come up and see that.
And at our world championship,
and you're not going to see every individual score you got. You're just going to see your overall score.
Yeah. At our world championship, we had an overall because of the ribs. That's who the world champion was going to be. So I was scratching my head. How are we going to make this work, right? Because it's all double blind. Without having to call 50 numbers because we had about 120 cooks, 130 cooks. It was like the 11th hour. I think it was about 5 days before the contest finally hit what I needed to do. So we added an additional number that we put on the ticket. And so it was the same for St. Louis
It was
style.
a sticker.
Yeah, it was a little sticker like 21. It was the same for St. Louis and for baby backs. So after the scores, I was able in my database to take that, merge them all together, and then
Rake 'em out.
Yeah,
rake
it
them
sorted
out.
them by that sticker number on there.
And for the World Championship, instead of calling a sticker number, a ticket number, I called out a sticker number, and that way we knew who the world champion was.
Justin West was calling every 30 minutes. I got it figured out. I got a system figured out. And I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work. Dang it, you're right. Back to the drawing board.
So,
We're like, because with that many cooks, like, how are we going to determine? Did not just have to sit here and call out, you're guessing. I'm telling Jody, I said, the winner's going to come from the top probably 30 or 40, but you don't know that. I mean, but luckily it worked out great.
So literally at 12 o'clock one night, because my brain never stops, I went, I got it. I figured it out. So first of all, I ran a sample, right? And I went, that'll work. So the next morning, I felt pretty good about myself, right? And I was like, hey, guess what? I said, I figured it out. And he's like, I don't know. He goes, you need to explain that. So finally I explained it, and he goes, I think that'll work. And to get me and Dirk to agree on anything on the same day, yeah, it usually takes him about 5 days to come back, and say I was right.
If we'd have been thinking you can buy rolls of tickets with 4 of the same number on them or whatever, we could have done it like that too. Yeah, I've seen them on Amazon. I actually looked after that because I said, what would even be simpler is if they just had the same ticket number for both deals. And you can buy them like that, so next time
But sometimes you're just on the fly and you got to figure it out.
Yeah, it worked.
Sure.
You know what? That's pretty cool. Well, please tell everybody where they can find y'all at that wants to get involved with the Rib Cookoff Association, and I've got to get off my tail and cook a rib event for y'all.
Come on, we would love to have it.
It'd be fun.
I need to do that.
You can go to ribcookoffassociation.com. So we're on the World Wide Web. Come and find us there. You can go to Facebook. We have a Rib Cookoff Association a page and a group. Also, New Zealand has a page out there under Rib Cookoff, and so does Europe. You can go to Instagram and find us under Rib Cookoff Association and TikTok. So we're out there trying just to get the word out.
My phone number's on the website, and it never stops ringing.
And mine is
call
not.
me anytime.
I'll sign you up for some stuff with your phone number.
Oh, gosh.
Hey,
Yes.
I delete and block about 50 things a day and calls.
I do too.
Every day, it's somebody's either wanting cooking advice or something to do with the Rib Cookoff deal. So it's all good.
I always make a joke
for it.
about that, about signing people up for something. That was like an
That's
inside
an email
joke.
thing.
We actually used to do
Candace and Matt Pittman.
Me and Matt Pittman went back and forth about that.
the Columbia record deal. We used to sign people up for that. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad for having y'all on the podcast. We've gotten so much talked about today and just learned so much about y'all. And I'm looking forward myself to seeing the growth of the Rib Cookoff Association because, honestly, I'm a pure rib man. 110%.
We know that.
For sure.
World champion.
That's it. And going for a three-peat, I hope. We'll see how it works out this year. Well, thank y'all for coming on, and please be safe driving back home. And can't wait to hear the next events for the Rib Cookoff Association.
Awesome. We
Thank you
appreciate
so much.
it. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Candace, too.
Thank you guys for coming.
If you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, please feel free to reach out to us on our social media channels. Leave us a review if you've enjoyed the show. And until next time, keep shooting the Que.